Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryan, aka Corduroykidd, and today we're going to be making the creeping crow. This pattern is already up on my Etsy and my Ravelry, but some people were asking for a video tutorial, so that's what we're doing today. It's a pretty easy beginner friendly project. I'd say it's like an intermediate beginner. And I'm going to be using blue worsted weight yarn today because it's really hard to see black on camera, and I'm using a 3.25mm crochet hook. And to start off this pattern, we're going to place 6 single crochet in a magic loop. I think I do a magic loop differently than a lot of other people, but I think my way is just simpler. So I just make a loop, put the crochet hook in, chain 3, and then that gets you the same magic loop that everyone else does, but for some reason everyone else makes it seem a lot harder. And this is something new I've started doing. I've started crocheting over both loops instead of just the one, because it really does make it tighter when you close the loop, so that's the only reason. But yeah, now we're going to put 6 single crochet in the magic loop. And then before we start round 1, we're going to add our marker. I just use a piece of string, but you can use a fancy stitch marker if you like. This is just the way I prefer doing it. And for round 1, we're going to increase 6 times. So that just means that you're going to put 2 single crochet in each of the 6 stitches. And at the end of this round, you're going to have 12 stitches. And for round 2, we're going to keep increasing. So for this round, you're going to single crochet 1 and then increase, and you're going to repeat that 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. Next, to make our crow's head, we're going to do 4 rounds plain, just single crocheting around all 18 stitches. So I'll meet you back when we've done that. Oh, and I wanted to note that sometimes people, when they're doing plushies, they do it backwards. So this should be the outside of the head, not the inside. You should be working from the outside in. And for round 7, we're going to start doing some of our shaping. So we're going to do single crochet increase, but only 3 times, and then after that you're going to single crochet 12, and at the end of round 7 you're going to have 21 stitches. And then for round 8, you're simply just going to single crochet all the way around 21 stitches. For round 9, we're going to be doing some more shaping. So we're going to single crochet 2 and then increase, and we're going to repeat that 3 times and then single crochet 12 for a total of 24 stitches. For round 10, we're just going to single crochet all the way around, but at the end of the round, you're going to single crochet 1 extra stitch, moving up the marker 1 to the left. And this is just so everything is in alignment better with the front and the back. It's just easier that way. And for round 11, we are going to single crochet increase, and we're going to do that 6 times. And then after that, for the front of our body, we're going to single crochet 2, decrease 3 times. And then at the end of this round, you're going to have 27 stitches. For round 12, you're going to single crochet 6, which is going to be the side of our body, and then at the back you're going to single crochet increase 3 times, and then you're going to single crochet 15 to the end of the round, and we're going to single crochet 1 extra and move up the marker 1 more time to the left. And at the end of this round you should have 30 stitches. For round 13, you're simply going to single crochet all the way around for 30 stitches. For round 14, we're going to do some tail shaping. So we're going to single crochet 6, which is going to be the side of the body. And then at the back in the tail portion, we're going to single crochet 9, but only in the back loops only. And then we're going to single crochet 6 more for the other side of the body. And then we're going to single crochet decrease 3 times to decrease that front portion of the body. At the end of this round, you should have 27 stitches. Continuing on to round 15, you're going to single crochet 21 and then decrease 3 in a row. And at the end of this round, you're going to have 24 stitches. For round 16, we're closing off the body now. So you're going to single crochet 2 and then decrease, and you're going to repeat that 6 times. And at the end of this round, you're going to have only 18 stitches left. And now is when you're going to start stuffing it either with yarn scraps or with stuffing. For round 17, you're going to single crochet 1 and then decrease, and you're going to repeat that 6 times until you only have 12 stitches left. For our final body round, after just stuffing it a little bit more, we're going to decrease 6 times until we only have 6 stitches left, and then I'll show you how I like to sew the hole closed. Next we're going to move on to the beak. With the same yarn and same hook, you're going to place 4 single crochet inside of a magic loop. And then for round 1, you're just going to single crochet around once. For round 2 of the beak, you're going to single crochet 1 increase, and you're going to do that twice, increasing up to 6 stitches. For the final round of the beak, you're going to single crochet 2 and then increase, and you're going to do that twice until you have 8 stitches. And make sure when you're cutting your yarn that you have enough to sew with, because we're going to sew it onto the body. Next we're going to move on to the wings, and for that you're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to chain 7. And I like working in the back chain because that just makes it a little bit tighter. So first off, we're going to single crochet 5, and then in the final stitch we're going to single crochet 3 and turn to the other side, and I'm counting that all as one stitch, and then you're going to single crochet 5 more for a total of 13 stitches. And then in the last stitch you're going to single crochet 3 and turn, and I'm counting the stitch on the other side of the chain as the same stitch. So we've put 3 in there, and then we're just going to single crochet 5 on the back side or the other side of the chain, and at the end of this round you should have 13 stitches. For the second row of the wing, we're going to single crochet 1 into the first stitch, and then we're going to chain up 3, and then single crochet 2, and then you're going to single crochet again in the same stitch you just single crocheted in, which will create an increase. And then you're going to single crochet 5 until you get to the end of this side. And just like on the previous round, you're going to put 3 single crochet in that final stitch just so it lays flat. And then on the other side, you're going to single crochet 4 and then slip stitch 2, and then your wing will be done. And I made both the wings the same and just flipped one of them over, and it looks all right to me. So next onto the talons, which is super fast. You're just going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain up 4. And sorry about the shaking, my hands were like shaking when I was nearing the end of this video. So annoying, but whatever. And you're just going to slip stitch 3. So 1, 2, 3. And now you're going to chain 3, which is going to get you your second little talon, and you're going to slip stitch 2. Then you're going to slip stitch to that last stitch from the first row, which I'm calling the center stitch, and then repeat that. So you're just going to chain 3 again, slip stitch 2, and then for some reason here I almost did it wrong, and then slip stitch back into that central stitch and chain up 1 and leave enough yarn to sew with, and obviously you're going to need to make 2 of those. Lastly, we're going to do the eyes, so just using black worsted weight yarn, you're going to put 6 single crochet in a magic loop. And this is why I used the blue instead of the black, because it's very hard to see black on camera, so I'm sorry if you can't see it, but it's just the same thing that we've already done in the previous parts of the pattern. Just 6 single crochet in a magic loop. And then with the last stitch, or the last single crochet, I'm just going to switch over to white. You can wait until you pull the magic loop closed to do that. I don't know why I decided to do that. And you can also slip stitch to the first single crochet in black if you want to. I just decided not to do that. And so now for our first and only row, you're just going to slip stitch to both the front and the back loops of each of the 6 stitches, which is going to get you 12. Sorry, it's really hard to see. Just black is just really hard to see, but I'm just slip stitching into the back loop, and then I'm slip stitching into the front loop of that stitch, which is just going to give us a nice ring of white around the black. I'm going to do that all the way around, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning and leave enough white yarn in order to sew it on. And here I've started pinning things together. Usually I'll just pin one thing on at a time, but I just wanted to show you how everything would be pinned. Here I am taking it all off, and we're going to start with the beak. And I kind of show all the sewing steps, but to be honest, they're all kind of the same. It's the same technique every single time. So I'm threading my tapestry needle. And yeah, I like to add some contrast color pins just to hold everything in place, and that's usually pretty good. And I'm going to go through a stitch on the beak, straight down into wherever it goes, and then I'm going to pull out of a stitch that has a clearly open hole. You know, there's holes in between the stitches in crochet, and then I'm going to go right back into that same hole, and then right underneath another stitch on the beak. And this just makes it so that your stitches are directly underneath whatever you're sewing on and doesn't leave any lines, which is my preferred sewing method. And so here I'm doing it again, going straight down through a stitch, and then I'm gonna pick another stitch to come out of, pull it through, have trouble pulling it through, and then I'm going to go straight back into that same stitch. And yeah, it gets kind of repetitive, so all the sewing is the same. And then once I get all the way back around the beak, I'm just going to make a knot somewhere so that it doesn't come undone, which some people don't bother doing that, but I spent so much work making something, I want to make sure it doesn't like fall apart. So I'm just going to make a quick half hitch knot close up to the beak, and that should be pretty invisible. And then as soon as I make my knot, I'm just going to thread the needle through the body and hide my ends and just cut off whatever is poking out. And to sew on the eye, we're just going to do the exact same thing we just did on the beak. It's the same exact technique. I just like going into a stitch and then I go back through the same stitch so that I can get right up underneath whatever I'm attaching. And I just go through every single stitch around whatever object I'm sewing on so that it's really secure. And I'll meet you back at the end. Once I've made it all the way back around, I just put the needle underneath the eye or whatever I'm sewing. But I like doing this specifically with eyes because there's no sew lines. So I just kind of creep underneath the eye and find one of those threads. And I just do a quick little knot around that because I'm paranoid about things coming apart, even though they probably won't. And then just push the needle through the body like we did on the beak and clip that and do the eye on the other side. Up next, we're going to sew on the wing. I just made sure that it was slightly angled downward, and I wanted to make sure that the tip of the wing met the tip of the tail. But you can place it however you like, as long as you know it's symmetrical. And I'm just sewing it exactly like how I sewed everything else. I left the very tip of the wing unsewed because I just wanted it to have a little motion, plus it's like hanging off the edge a little bit, so that's the only difference there. And yeah. Okay, so I realized later that I placed these talons a little bit too far forward. They should be a tiny bit farther back. The test is just whether it can stand or not, so it's kind of up to you. I just thought they were poking out a little bit too much. There's no real method on how to sew these on. There's two ends, so I just poke one end through a stitch, and then I take whichever end is longest and I start sewing with that, just going around as many stitches as possible until it's secure, and then I'm gonna push that end through the same stitch where the other end is, and I just make a knot and then push that inside the body so that it's all secure. And with all that sewing, our little crow bluebird hybrid thing is done. It definitely looks different than the original crow because the yarn I used was thicker, so it ended up a little bit bigger, and like I said, I put the talons a little bit too far forward, so they're kind of like poking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you make my little crochet creeping crow pattern, and if you do, tag me on Instagram, that would be cool. And leave a comment down below what you think I should make next. Like, subscribe if you want to stick around. I'll definitely be making more videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!